Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Ooh, the Curvy Critic is back, but not before giving you some tips about Turkey Day. Stay right there.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Hey! I was looking at the screen. So sorry. Hi, everybody. Happy pre-Thanksgiving. This is your girl, Carla Renata, and I am the host of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata right here at Black Hollywood Live. Oh, we have a jam-packed show for you today, including talking about what happened at that AFI Film Festival closing, a little Queen and Slim, a little Knives Out action, a little Michael Beach, a little Mekhi Pfeiffer, and all of that jazz. But before we begin, I just want to tell you how my week went. It was a crazy, hella busy week, mostly because, as I say to you guys all the time, this is that time of the year for film critics that is hella busy. And in addition to all the screenings and networking events that we go to, they send a lot of packaging for the films out. So I got some stuff that was like, I got this book, and I'll show it on air next week. I got this ginormous book for Marriage Story, which was in a beautifully packaged pink box, beautifully packaged. And then I got the DVD, and then I've got leather bound scripts of almost every script that came out, which are beautiful, but I don't know that I need them unless, I'm going to get someone to sign them and make them a collector's item, but they're gorgeous. But that was that. My Film Critics Organization, AFCA, got together, had an event at the Ross House to celebrate, again, Dolomite is my name, and Eddie Murphy was in attendance, so there was lots of photographs and things taken with him. I did not take a picture with him that night because I already got my picture with Eddie Murphy, and we kind of looked fantabulous in that picture, and I didn't want to, have another picture that didn't look as great. I'm like, I'm good. But hi, Simone and Michael B. and Marlon Wallace. I love y'all. Welcome back for this Sunday's edition of the Curvy Critic. So for those of you that are joining me for the first time, this is how we roll here at the Curvy Critic. I give you some reviews, I give you some news, I share some interviews with you. Some are on camera, some are just audio. It depends on where the people are in the world and what their schedules are. But I always try to keep it current. I always try to give you any kind of information that you need regarding films, especially this award season. And then I'm going to break down a little bit, not everything, but break down just a little bit of who I think, might be in the final running for like Best Actor, Best Actress, and maybe Best Picture, if I get that far. I might not even get to that this week. I might have to do that next week because we got a jam-packed show. So first up on the docket is a documentary that I saw a little while ago. Now, I don't know if I've said this here before, but I was an avid Bikram yoga practitioner. I took Bikram yoga 4 to 5 times a week, and I loved it because I would sweat all the toxins out, sweat all the fat off. It was my go-to because my joints are so crickety from dancing and being so active when I was a little younger that doing the Bikram yoga helped to strengthen and lengthen my muscles and my tendons and my ligaments and helped me release the toxins. It was a great workout for me, and it was a great release spiritually and physically. Well, Bikram has come under attack, and he basically had some practitioners that took him to task, and they said, listen, I'm going to sue you, particularly his lawyer. She sued him. She won $1 million, like not $1 million, but a several $1 million lawsuit. And then as soon as he walked out of the courtroom, homeboy walked out of the courtroom and right to the jet and left the country. And he has not been seen or heard from since. But this documentary that's coming out called Yogi Guru, it is mind-boggling that all this stuff was going on the whole time I was practicing yoga right here in LA. It is a wonderful documentary. It is streaming on Netflix right now. And if you are practicing Bikram yoga, so this is what happened. A lot of the Bikram yoga studios, they shuttered and they shut down, and now they just have hot yoga on there. And then there's some people that still are diehard Bikram practitioners, and I understand why, because it really was a great workout. But I can't endorse somebody who is bullying and making women feel uncomfortable, not in the hashtag #MeToo age. No, sir. No. That is not okay. That is not a no in this day and age. And the fact that he got away with it so long, along with some other people that we have heard in the news recently, for the last year is just mind-boggling to me, but not really, because women, they get intimidated, they get scared, they feel like the tables will turn onto them, which it did with some of these people. But I highly suggest checking it out and watching it. It is called Bikram Yogi Guru, and it is streaming on Netflix right now. Now, oh, hold up one second. Wendy Fagundes. Hey, she go ahead, Wendy. Wendy tuned in from Australia. Oh my God, I didn't even know we had listeners in Australia. Yes, Miss Wendy. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, leave me a thumbs up on the YouTube page and let me know. And then go over to iTunes and Spotify and give me some love and some tips and some feedback there as well. But on to the next dockets on the line. Atlantics is a film that won the huge grand prize at the Cannes Film Festival earlier this year, and it's directed by a lovely young lady named Mati Diop. She is her first feature film. She won the big prize at Cannes. I expect to see really big, wonderful things happening with her in the near future. And this is an interview. It's a little long, but I think it's worth it, and I think you'll enjoy it. So this is my interview with the director of Atlantics, Mati Diop. Let me first acknowledge and congratulate you on being the first woman of color at Cannes to win a prize. I'm so excited for you for that. Are you just so outside of your body?
I think I'm quite inside my body right now, at least. Which is better to talk to you on the phone, otherwise it would be complicated. No, I'm right here. Thank you.
I noticed that the moon and the ocean were secondary characters to the plot in this particular film, and I was wondering why you chose those particular things, the moon and the ocean, to represent the calmness, the anger, the changing in the energy of the film with the characters of Suleiman and Ada.
The ocean is maybe the first character of the film. The ocean is I think the link in between all the different characters and is the main territory of the film, because it's the one the boys take to reach Spain, the territory where they disappear in, the elements that makes the girls think about the boys once they have disappeared. It's the element that surrounds the whole neighborhood that is open to the unknown, to the other side, but which also enclose the neighborhood. The ocean the film is named by that character. It's a film about a very specific period where a lot of boys took that ocean to reach Europe, and with some reaching Europe and some dying in that ocean. So the ocean is obviously extremely central and becomes not only a geographical place but a mental territory, a territory of ghosts also. The moon is a really less, I would say the sun is much more important figure than the moon, because it begins to be the moment of shift, from a state to another. It's really at each sunset that the girls and the investigators shift from a state to another. And elements like ocean and the sun, they're working, together into a mysterious pact. The moon is more an element that I used. It's really made to try to give quite precise time marks. Like we begin with the croissant when the boys disappear, and when the moon comes back, we understand that it's maybe 2 weeks after. It's more a time mark, and also obviously reference to a certain gothic tale and fantasy mood. It's a very archetypal fantasy and gothic figure also.
There's so many themes being threaded throughout. The whole situation with the construction workers not being paid properly, the arranged marriage situation. But the thing that I love the most was the energy and the playfulness between the girls and how supportive they were when it came to the arranged marriage. There was that one scene where when they came into the house and they were clowning her like, oh my God, why do you not want to stay married with him? He's hardly going to be here. Why don't you just enjoy the house, have a good time? Why did you feel it was important to show that love and support of these women during this really difficult time where their men have disappeared into this ocean and swallowed them up?
The film is really about them, about these women, and how the disappearance and the absence of men confront themselves to their own situation, to their desires, and Ada, it really confronts herself to her situation, makes her unable to play the game. She's so disturbed and truly destabilized now by the possible loss of Suleiman that this disappearance really confronts her to her true self. She's not able to play this social game anymore. It's like the possible death of Suleiman confronts her. And hypocrisy and the strategies her friends are into becomes impossible for her. As before, she was actually about to play the game. She was on one hand with Suleiman, on the other side in the way of marrying Omar, and suddenly it's not possible anymore. I'm very interested by how in Senegal today there is this new form of woman empowerment, which is to take advantage of men without being ashamed of it. Like Fanta, she really pushes Ada to use him without any complex. I have no judgment on Fanta. I really wanted to turn her as a comedy character because to me it has a lot to do with comedy, and I really like the way this girl. She doesn't apologize. I think that way. It's really kind of a neo-capitalism, capitalist feminism. I'm just very stimulated by turning this situation as a character because I think it's just really it's really a mirror of reality. It's really the conversation these girls have at that wedding really depicts the actual turn that women are taking, and so it has a lot to do with it's a very, very reality-based character and situation, and I really like the way each in the film is finding their way out to independence, and they have such different relationship to it. And I wanted to work on how Ada is going to search for her own path inside all these different way of life. And what I like about it is that the discourse of these girls are not politically correct, and I was even myself a bit challenged because my education would tell me it's not good to take advantage of men because it's hypocrite, but I like their absence of morality. I don't like it, but I mean, as an observator, I think it's because it also sounds like a new kind of revenge on men. I really don't judge my character, I really try to film them in their own complexity and to make understand that their discourse are really a product of economical situation, another product, a consequence of an economical situation. And it was mostly to say that the film is really about a love story distracted by a social pressure and a certain violent economy. Her friends are telling her pure love and innocent love was absolutely foolish, it's not possible anymore. Like everybody around in the environment of Ada is sending her that message that living an innocent, uninterested love with a boy that loves you back is not something you can afford. In those places, in those class, in the whole political, social, economic situation they are in, the innocence of love is absolutely, it's not affordable. And that's really what the film is mostly about.
I noticed all of that. I noticed the love story. I noticed the ghost story. I noticed the love between the girls and the despair between the girls when they lose their men, and all of the subjects that you mentioned. I peeped all of it, and I loved every single solitary moment of it. As a woman of color, I could wholeheartedly appreciate and relate to what was going on. I wanted to talk briefly about you going from being an actress to a filmmaker, and if that was something that made directing this film really easy for you, or if it was challenging for you because of that.
When I met Claire Denis, I was obviously very young, but I was already a filmmaker. I had already directed couple of art videos and a short film, and I was at Le Fenois, which is a cinema school, and I was about to shoot my second short film. So I definitely was already wanting to become a filmmaker. And then acting came. I acted in a couple of features and short films, but experiencing acting is definitely something that then it really impacted my way of directing actors in my film, and that really reinforced my relationship to my actors. That is giving me a much more concrete relationship to that, because I'm able to understand what an actor goes through and the needs he or she has, and the way I can help this actor become a character. So yeah, I guess it's just extremely nourishing to go from one to another, and at the end, right, acting, directing becomes one and same thing. You know, it really irrigates. It's very nourishing to be able to circulate from one thing to another.
The music was very haunting, but then very lively, but then very introspective for Ada at different points of the film. So I was wondering, how did you collaborate with the composer to get the right choices for this particular film?
The only musician I thought about for that film was only Fatima Al-Gadiri. She's from Kuwait. I've been listening to her music since a very long time, since 2009. And her music is really influencing me, and I'm a very, very deep connection to her world since always. I think I really needed the music for this film to be a gene itself, you know, to really have a very, very strong spelling capacity. And I think that, especially for a fantasy film, the music has to go beyond the images. For me, the music starts where the images stop, and there's so much you can express through an actor, through an image, but at some point I think music really carries a dimension that nothing else can bring. And as it's a fantasy film which has a lot to do with the invisible, with another dimension, the beyond, the ocean and all its mysteries, and the world of the ghost. You know, I think music is the best medium that really can give a texture dimension to invisibility, and is able to really go very far in terms of emotion and imaginary. So, and Fatima has this incredible capacity of her own personal world is really also very influenced by Muslim culture and by the genes, and her music is a gene itself. You know, it's really put a spell on you, and I really wanted that for the film, and the collaboration went splendid. It's really one of the things that makes me the most truly happy about the film is the incredible collaboration that this film offered me. And working with Fatima was a dream, because my relationship to music is very strong, and I was really waiting for a first big collaboration with a musician, and it's really one of the reasons why I make film, to be able to collaborate with musicians and make them create a score. It's one of the things that I adore the most in making films.
Well, you have put a spell on us, Miss Mati, with Atlantics. It was a gorgeous film. It was thought-provoking. It was intriguing. I can't find enough adjectives to describe how much I enjoyed it.
Thank you for your very kind words.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you for taking time out of your schedule to speak with me. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. Well, I told you it was a long interview, but I kept a lot of it in because it was really interesting. Mati had a lot to say. She's a very intricate filmmaker. She's her whole thought process and how she goes about bringing the picture together is very, very thoughtful, very thought-provoking, very intricate. And I thought if there are some filmmakers that are listening, they could hear that and hear the passion in her voice and how she goes about relating to the characters and bringing them to life on the screen. So again, Atlantics is directed by Mati Diop. It is streaming on Netflix as of 11/29, November 29th. So, get them stretchy pants out, as my producer Josh says. Get them stretchy pants out, turn on Netflix, and check out Atlantic. I loved it. I had to watch it a few times because I was like, oh, I'm not quite sure what's happening with this movie because they got zombies. It's kind of got this horror thriller ghost thing happening, but then it also has this love story thing happening. And then it also has this struggle thing with the guys not being paid a whole wage situation going on, and then you got the girl power, but then the girls kind of turn on each other. It's a lot going on, but it is a very intriguing film, and I highly suggest checking out Atlantics by Mati Diop on Netflix when it hits the streaming site on November 29th. Now, let me holler at some folk in the chat room. I see that Cup of Soul, Miss Katia, then joined us. Hey, girl, hey. Um, and then I want to talk about this next picture. Now, this is the really cool thing about this next picture that I want to say. Queen and Slim is a film that's coming out with produced by Braun Pictures in association with Universal Pictures. And it's one thing to write a film and have it in your head, but there's a very different thing to have an idea that you had in your head that you put on a computer screen and then walk outside of your door and see billboards and posters and just Queen and Slim photographs everywhere. Well, that is what has happened to director Melina Matsoukas, who is the director of Queen and Slim. It has a screenplay that is written by Lena Waithe. Everybody knows Lena Waithe as the Emmy winner last year for Master of None for that Thanksgiving episode, ironically enough. And this is a film that pretty much illustrates what happens when an online dating app pairs you with somebody and it goes terribly wrong. The film opens with these two young, beautiful chocolate people, Jodie Thomas and Daniel Kaluuya, who you guys remember from Get Out last year. These beautiful chocolate leads. I love the fact. Now, usually, let me just say this. Usually when we have a film that is dealing in a romantic lead type of situation, we always see some caramel colored black people or some light skinned black people. We do. Whenever we see dark skinned black people on the screen, it's usually not in a favorable light. Up until Get Out and a couple of other things as of late, we did not see my darker hued brothers and sisters in a positive light. But thank goodness for Melina Matsoukas and Lena Waithe, baby, because they then brought the Hershey's chocolate to the screen in the form of a black Bonnie and Clyde. Basically, what happens in Queen and Slim is it's a date that goes wrong. It's a situation involving the police. I don't want to tell you because I don't want to ruin it for you. I've already ruined a little bit by saying Black Bonnie and Clyde, but it's a beautifully shot film. Melina's background in directing music videos really comes into play with this film, and it's beautifully shot. She does some wonderful things where the camera will just be on the subjects or the actors in the scene, and you'll see them looking at each other or having thoughts that you think that they're having, but then the voiceover comes on over the action, and then you know specifically what they're thinking. I love that. That's such a creative way to make a movie because it brings the audience in and it keeps them there because you're wondering, oh my goodness, what is she gonna do next? It was beautiful. I loved every single solitary second of it. What I did not love, and I'm probably the only person that thinks this, there's this one moment in the film where there is, for lack of a better way of saying it, like a white savior thing going on. But I had a conversation with somebody about this not too long ago, and they said to me that that moment wasn't so much about a white savior moment as much as it was about showing that white people can be down for the cause too. So I'm going to go with that because I don't want to be that person giving a review on Queen and Slim that's going to be negative because that's not how I roll here at the Curvy Critic. And if you've been listening to me or watching me for a while, you know that that's not how I roll. So I just want to say that I think Queen and Slim is fabulous. It's got chocolaticity at its best with Daniel Kaluuya and Miss Jodie. It's got Lena Waithe doing the screenplay. It's got Melina Matsoukas, Miss Fabulous Melina Matsoukas as the director. And it is produced by Braun Studios in a conjunction with Universal Pictures. It hits theaters, y'all, on November 27th. So again, get them stretchy pants ready so you can get some popcorn, chill back, get you a soda or icy or whatever your little movie snack is, and get ready to enjoy some Queen and Slim. It'll be well worth the wait, I promise you. Now, I think I've talked about Truth Be Told on this show quite a bit. I know I have. I talked about it quite a bit. I love Truth Be Told, and it will make its debut on Apple TV Plus on December 6th. I love it, love it, love it. I mostly love it because it is featuring a predominantly Black cast of people. It is executive produced by my girl Octavia Spencer. It's starring Octavia, of course, Aaron Paul, that you guys know him from the Breaking Bad, Tammy Roman from the Housewives franchise, Hanifa Wood, who I know from the Avenue Q days, Tracy Toms, who some of you guys might know her from being in the Rent movie, and she's always popping up on TV somewhere. That child keep a job. She was a series regular on Cold Case for a while. And of course, it stars Ron Cephas Jones, who is an Emmy winner for This Is Us, and my boys, Mekhi Pfeiffer and Michael Beach. Y'all, when I tell y'all we cut up in this interview, we cut up in this interview. But as I've said over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to keep rolling out interviews from the show just to remind people that it's coming up, because I love it and I think it has a great premise and a great message. I'll just recap very briefly. It centers around Poppy, who is played by Octavia Spencer. She is a podcaster and a true crime reporter, and she discovers that somebody that she reported on, played by Aaron Paul, that the crime he is sitting in prison for, he may not necessarily be guilty of. And so the show centers around that particular situation right now. There are several episodes. I've only seen 6 of them. So in the 6 episodes that I saw, that's what the premise was centering around. But I'm sure there's a bunch more episodes, and it centers around some other things. But I wanted y'all to see the chocolaticity and fun that I had with Mr. Michael Beach and Mekhi Pfeiffer from Apple TV Plus's Truth Be Told. Take a listen. All right, you like the Curvy Critic? All right.
I agree.
We got some chocolaticity in the house. Yes, indeed. Let me just address this right now. There is a line in one of those episodes where they refer to you, my brother, as weak knees in the middle of the night, Marcus. Ooh, I heard that. I remember it. And I was like, I gotta ask Mekhi about that, because do you see Marcus as that kind of brother?
Weak knees in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
What does that mean? For the women.
For the women.
Oh, gotcha.
Thank you, Michael.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
You want to say yes?
Yes.
To that one.
Well, no, it's funny because myself, Michael Beach, I don't think I love about when we're really doing what we do. It's not. I think we can get past necessarily just the physical aspect and really delve into who these people are. And I think that becomes more important as far as driving the story than just having eye candy. You know what I mean? And but I do love. Thank you for the.
Not a problem at all. So you guys you don't have a relationship really, but there's this underlying tension that's happening that we never really see on camera, because you were her boyfriend and you were her husband. Right. So how do y'all feel about the notion that when someone's married, how difficult is that for the person that they're married to allow outside relationships with the opposite sex?
Poppy is getting deeper and deeper into a case that is pulling her father further away from me, her character's husband, and closer to her ex-lover. So that in that sense, I am, there is a threat, there is a worry about what could happen in the future.
And that's a natural inclination, don't you think?
It is. A lot of times, sometimes even as actors, I mean, we're both married, but, sometimes you're on the set 14, 16 hours a day. A lot of times the people that you work with every day can be closer than your current mate.
Yeah.
Because you're spending so much time, you're learning about them, you're laughing with them, you know their problems, what they love, what they don't love. So a lot of times they call that like your work wife or your work husband.
Exactly.
And that's what kind of is sort of happening with myself, and probably because we are spending a lot of time together, going through this case.
Yeah.
So it can, yes, I agree, it can cause a rift.
Okay, and the theme of the show is dealing with the past and how the past is ultimately going to affect the present and the future. Mm-hmm. What's something from your past that you wish you could forget?
Your past leads you to where you are, and I think as long as you are able to really put it in a place that's helpful to you, whether it's a good good memory or bad.
Right.
It's something that, that I think strong people can say, that is something that I needed to happen because it helped me learn this or it helped me learn that.
Okay. Well, that's my time. I thank y'all so much for taking to talk to me.
No, I know.
What? Thank you. I I just have to laugh because this is why they laugh mostly guys laugh, but this is why most people laugh, and some girls laugh too, whenever I say the Curvy Critic. When I go in to do these junket interviews, it's a very closed off situation, and usually right before you conduct the interview, you have to give your outlet and your name. So I always say Carla Renata, the Curvy Critic, and they bust out laughing because I kind of am curvy and I am a critic, and they just crack up that I say that. But I'm glad that they laugh because then it gives us something light and fluffy to go into a conversation with. So thank you, Mekhi Pfeiffer and Michael Beach, for rolling with a sister. I really had so much fun talking to you guys. I can't wait to see the rest of Truth Be Told on Apple TV Plus when it debuts on that streaming service on December 6th. Oh man, it's so hilarious. The whole situation just brings a smile to my face. All right, so next up is this film called Knives Out. Knives Out is directed by Rian Johnson, and it is produced by Lionsgate Pictures. It will hit your theaters on November 27th as well. This film is so much fun, y'all. If you see any other film for the Thanksgiving holiday, this is the one that you want to see because it is pure comedy. It's so hilariously funny. It's a murder mystery a la Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, or Clue. For people that are familiar with that film, Clue, it's very much that. It's a murder mystery that unfolds. It ends up in the most unlikeliest of ways. It has all these different twists and turns, and it features an all-star cast. And when I say all-star, I mean we got Don Johnson, we got Jamie Lee Curtis, we got Chris Evans. I mean, the list goes on. Lakeith Stanfield. We got so many stars in that movie that I'm afraid there might not be any more stars left in Hollywood. There's so many stars in this film. But it is a really fun film. It's so much fun. I love a good murder mystery, thriller kind of thing. I'm an old Alfred Hitchcock kind of chick. I love anything that's dealing with something where you watch the screen and you have to figure it out. I love those kind of movies because it makes you think and it keeps you engaged in the action of the film, and you don't have time to check out. You don't have time to get bored. You don't have time to take a nap because the action and the script keeps you right there. So Rian Johnson, you did your thing. Knives Out, y'all, on November 27th by Lionsgate Pictures. Check it out. You're going to have so much fun, I promise you. All right. Now, so let me get to this news. Yes. Hey. Okay, let me just stop. I'm just doing way too much right now. Okay. So let's talk about the AFI Film Festival. I gave y'all a teaser of the AFI Film Festival last week. And keep the music going, Josh. What happened? This is the news. The AFI Film Festival is the news. But what had happened was I gave y'all a teaser of that last week. It was some great films. It opened with Queen and Slim. In the middle of the festival, it had The Aeronauts, which I will have the reviews up of everything that I talk about here at The Curvy Critic on my site, thecurvyfilmcritic.com. And sometimes you'll catch me over at Fox 11 LA talking about the films there as well. But at the AFI Film Festival, I had my lips all ready and smacked and body was poised to watch The Banker. Now, I had seen The Banker already, but I wanted to, I say this all the time, I like to see films multiple times because I just need to see what the response is from the audience to see if my instincts about the film are right on point, or maybe I should relook at some things or something like that from a critical point of view. Well, honey, The Banker, which is a film that was produced or is produced by Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson, and it's produced by Apple TV, they snatched that bad boy from the closing night lineup. and they snatched it because apparently and allegedly somebody that was related to someone that is the film centers on had some kind of sexual allegation thing going on. And we are living in the hashtag Me Too age. People are not playing. When somebody says someone sexually abused me or somebody harassed me, folk are not playing. The minute a woman says it, they snatch you up, they get you out of the way because they're not trying to have any shenanigans or have anything put a damper on their moment or their film. And this was the closing night film, so it was very disconcerting for a lot of people. They replaced it with Marriage Story, which stars Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, and I'll talk about that next week. And Marriage Story is a wonderful, beautiful film. I'd seen it a few times, but it kind of took people by surprise. So for people that didn't see Marriage Story, they got a nice little surprise. For people that had already seen it and had their lips all smacked and ready for the banker, it was a whole different situation. But what I will say is this. It's unfortunate because the AFI Festival is one of my favorite festivals. It's very well done. It's very classy. The films and the panels and the discussions that happen there are always on point. They had a discussion with Eva Longoria where she was talking about the Latinx, because Josh and I had a discussion about this a few weeks ago, the whole situation around Latinx and what that means and what it means now, why it came up and what it means for the future. And it was a very invigorating discussion. I'll have that up on my site as well. But yeah, it was very disconcerting that happened. And I just hope I hope whatever is going on with that film and that person involved in it, because I think they were rolling him out to do Q&As, this particular person, and so they had to just snatch all of that back and go, hold up, wait a minute, let's regroup. So I hope that they get it together because the film is an excellent movie. It's a beautifully shot film. It's really wonderful, and I really want people to see it because it deserves to be seen. So that's that. I want to say rest in peace to Michael J. Pollard. Michael J. Pollard played the young guy in the Bonnie and Clyde movie that hooks up with Bonnie and Clyde. I think he worked in a garage or something. He was really young at the time, but he passed away this week. And just wanted to say rest in peace, Michael J. Pollard. You gave us some smiles and you gave us a lot to think about when you did Bonnie and Clyde back in the day. That's one of my favorite films. Gloria Calderon, Colette, from One Day at a Time, just inked a overall deal at Amazon. So applause and kudos to you, my sister. That's a really big deal that she has this overall deal at Amazon as a Latina a Latina showrunner. So this is a really big deal for her. There is Idris. Okay, so Jay-Z is producing this Western. And I'm just saying, if Jay-Z gonna produce a Western, he gotta have Idris Elba in it. I don't know what the Western's about. I don't know what the name of the movie is. But all you gotta tell me is that it's a Western and it got Idris Elba in it. And I have bought my ticket yesterday. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I would have bought my ticket yesterday. I am all about that situation right there. And then this happened this week, y'all. So apparently, Bohemian Rhapsody producer Graham King has secured the rights from the Michael Jackson estate to make a film of Michael Jackson's life. The estate has given him all access to all of his music. Now that's saying something, because this year in particular with that Leaving Neverland documentary and a couple of other things that popped off, like that movie with Joseph Fiennes, where he was... First of all, why was Joseph Fiennes trying to play Michael Jackson? That's a whole nother discussion in itself. But with that situation and with the Leaving Neverland documentary, the Michael Jackson estate has been like, no, and no. So the fact that they have given Graham King full access and full on support for this movie says a lot. It's retained 3-time Oscar-nominated writer John Logan to write the script. And I'm told the film doesn't intend to be a sanitized rendering of Michael Jackson's life. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see what they bring to the forefront and what they leave on the back burner. But that is it for the news for today on the Curvy Critic. Yes. Now, I said happy Thanksgiving at the beginning of the episode, and we have Thanksgiving coming up. I don't know about y'all, but I'm about to get my grub on. I live for Thanksgiving, and I'm like, if y'all are out there trying to be on a diet or trying to hold on to a diet, don't do that. This is that time of year where you got to live and let live, honey. Let them pants go. Unbutton them pants. Let that zipper down and go for broke. That's what I say.
Or like I mentioned earlier, get the stretchy pants out.
And I totally stole that and put it up online to promote the show. So thank you for that, Josh.
Of course.
I totally stole that. I'm like, I'm not even going to front and act like it was my idea. No, that was Josh's idea. Yes, honey, get the stretchy pants out and go for broke. But while you're getting the stretchy pants out, if you're not going to see Knives Up, if you're not going to see Knives Out, if you're not going to see Queen and Slim, if you're not going to check out, the Bikram documentary, then you can also check out the Apollo documentary on HBO. I talked about that last week. It is a wonderful, well-rounded story about the beginnings of the Apollo, where it has been, where it was, and where it's going. So that's a great documentary on HBO. You can also, I mentioned earlier when I talked about Lena Waithe, that Thanksgiving episode is the episode 8 of season 2. She won the Emmy for that. She was the first African-American woman who is queer to do so. Check that episode out. It has Angela Bassett in it. It has Kim Whitley in it. It is hella funny. You can stream that. You can stream The Oath, which stars Ike Barinholtz, John Barinholtz, Tiffany Haddish are in that. That's a crazy movie. It is crazy as hell, but I really enjoyed it. But that is also streaming on Hulu. Home for the Holidays is streaming on Amazon. Plus so I discovered this last night. I just have to say, I discovered a documentary about Sam Cooke. It's called Remastered, and it's on Netflix. Oh my goodness. I love Sam Cooke. Now, if y'all don't know who Sam Cooke is, he's the one who sang, A Change Is Gonna Come. I was born in a river. That song right there, that's Sam Cooke. But that song did not get released until after he passed away. And everybody knows that Sam Cooke was shot, but the story surrounding the circumstances of how he was shot are fair to middling. And his whole life is just absolutely fascinating. But I would suggest streaming that. That's on Netflix. And then, of course, it's Thanksgiving. So you can't have your stretchy pants on, have your plate and your pumpkin pie without watching a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Come on. You cannot have Thanksgiving without watching a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. So whether you're streaming it, whether you own it, whether you're going to watch it on TV, check it out. It is thebomb.com. It is my favorite holiday classic ever because it's just pure comedy. But let's see what y'all talking about before we go in this room here, because y'all have been very busy. How many episodes is it? Oh, you're talking about Truth Be Told. I'm not sure how many episodes Truth Be Told is, but I do know that you have to have an Apple TV Plus subscription to screen it. That is the only place where you will be able to find it. I know that they have 6 episodes up right now, and I only got to screen them because I did the interviews and I had to watch the show in order to conduct the interviews. But I know they have 6 episodes up right now, so definitely check it out. Wendy left. So she said, it was a pleasure to be here. I got to go on my day. Bye, everybody, and have a good night or day. Wendy, if you listen to this later on, thank you so much for tuning in from Australia. I know it's like a whole nother day of the time of the day there, but I appreciate you taking the time to hang with us. It was great. I loved it. Michael B. talking about pumpkin pie or sweet potato. Now, I'm a sister, so I'm going to have me some sweet potato pie and some pumpkin pie. I'm not even going to front. I'm the Curvy Critic. Did you know? Have you met me? Yes, you have. And that's all I have to say about that. So, having said that, I will do a remote show from St. Louis to talk to y'all about more Apple TV Plus Truth Be Told interviews. This time it will be with the showrunner, Nichelle Tramble, and Emmy winner Ron Cephas Jones. I will be talking to Elizabeth Perkins and Lizzie Kaplan, who are also on the show. I will do a review of The Aeronauts. I have some marriage story interviews with Scarlett Johansson, Noah Baumbach, a whole bunch of other people from the movie. And of course, a review of Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which I have seen in several places. And it's one of my favorite foreign films from France. It is fantabulous. But as usual, and as always, thank you all for joining me here at the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. If you enjoyed what you saw or what you heard, please give me a thumbs up at the YouTube station. Let me know that you were here. Give me some love and some hearts and some likes over at iTunes and Spotify. And you can catch me here every Sunday at 5 o'clock. Right after this, you will catch me over at AfterBuzz TV doing the General Hospital After Show, or the GH Report as we like to call it here. And the last Monday night for the Dancing with the Stars finale is tomorrow, and I will be right back at AfterBuzz TV doing that as well. So until the next time, y'all, love, peace, and hair grease. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.